And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars. Come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
This is a Thanksgiving song. I hope you enjoy it. Love to eat turkey. Love to eat turkey. I love you. Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat. So good. That clapping's messing my head up, man. I appreciate it, but I was trying to think of the next line. I'm like, all I hear is clapping. Here we go. Thanks anyways. Turkey for me, turkey for you. Let's eat the turkey in my big brown shoe. Love to eat the turkey at the table. I once saw a movie with Betty Grable. Eat that turkey all night long. 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Turkey lurkey do and turkey lurkey dap. I eat that turkey, then I take a nap. Thanksgiving is a special night. Jimmy Walker used to say dynamite. That's right. Turkey with gravy and cranberry. Can't believe the Mets traded Darryl Strawberry. Turkey for you and turkey for me. Can't believe Tyson gave that girl BD. White meat, dark meat, you just can't lose. I fell off my moped and I got a bruise. Turkey in the oven and the buns in the toaster. I'll never take down my Cheryl Teagues poster. Wrap the turkey up in aluminum foil. My brother likes to masturbate with baby oil. Turkey and sweet.
TMI, Adam,
potato
TMI.
pie. Sammy Davis Jr. only had one eye. Oh, turkey for the girls and turkey for the boys. My favorite kind of pants are corduroys. Gobble,
Mine are
gobble,
cargo
go
pants.
and gobble, gobble,
Preferably
giggle.
cargo shorts.
I wish turkey only cost a nickel. Oh, I love turkey on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right. We're doing things a little bit different this week because it is Thanksgiving week, so short schedule. I'll be here for 3 hours today and then maybe 90 minutes this evening. I haven't decided yet. We're filling in some time for the ladies of the red wine that are on hiatus. And then in December, we're going to start running our holiday content that we've done in the past on Mondays to fill the slot. So America Off the Rails will be going back to Sundays starting in December. But this will be a Monday episode. Last week was supposed to be one too, but Mother Nature was a whore, so that didn't happen. So far she's behaving, so I think we should be able to do a show this evening. Sorry, my mic stand and my camera have been messed with, and it's driving me insane. I thought I had them fixed right, but I've noticed now that the bar is right in front of my face when I don't lean over. Anyway, some of you are like, "Thank God we can't see your Shrek ass anymore." Well, first of all, I haven't shown you my ass. Second of all, shut it. Anyway, so lots of things to talk about today. Anyway, we're going to try to have a little bit more fun since it is Thanksgiving week. Speaking of which, it doesn't seem right to not open a show with this on Thanksgiving week. So hang on. Somebody's been bugging me about running this for like the last 2 weeks, so it seems appropriate to do it now. Because it is Thanksgiving week, so it'll probably get played quite often because reasons. But here we go. See, I think this Thanksgiving we need to do something kind of similar with a certain group of people whose affectation starts with the word C. Let's see if they can fly as well as turkeys. I'm being nice because I'm on somebody else's YouTube channel. And yes, I am well aware that my camera angle right now has the mic boom blocking my face. I will try to fix it when we go to the next break, but it's that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be upgrading my camera equipment soon, because it's kind of a pain to get it set up the way I need to have it set up. And when somebody messes with it and doesn't tell me, it throws things off. But that's, I guess, the joys of having a 4-year-old in the house. Anyway, so we're going to keep rolling through anyway. And some of you are like, "Thank God we can't see your face," and I get that, and I approve this message. Just saying. All right, so let's see what else. Let's see what we can find to get into in the news angles today. So here's an interesting little take. It's almost like the Democrats, at least in New York, are trying to wake up. It's been kind of interesting to watch, though. So here we have a certain Democrat who's a little pissed. So this is from our friends at Red State. New York Dem rep blast Hochul and Adams over brutal triple murder that their government fundamentally failed them. So, I mean, they're not wrong. So New York rep Richie Torres, Democrat, torched Governor Hattie. I'm sorry, I always make fun of her name, so it always throws me off a little bit. Governor Kathy Hochul And Big Apple Mayor Eric Adams, after a psychopath went on a homicide spree in Manhattan earlier this month and randomly stabbed 3 innocent people to death. The enraged Torres wrote a letter to the governor and the mayor accusing the city and state of being complicit in the savage murders. Torres said Rivera should never have been on the streets, but authorities failed and let him fall through the cracks. Those directly responsible should be fired, he demanded. I'm writing to express alarm at the complicity of the state and the city in the murder of 3 New Yorkers who were savagely stabbed to death in a homicidal rampage that took hold in broad daylight, the Bronx Democrats said in a scathing letter to both the mayor and the governor obtained by the Post. And here you can see the Post itself, or the headline from the Post as well as the Post from Rep. Richie Torres. There must be consequences when government fails and when innocent New Yorkers lose their lives. We live in a city and state where the only people who seem to suffer consequences are the victims of crime and their loved ones. Enough is enough. Now, and I don't even know if it's still going on at this point because I kind of unplugged from it. But as far as the subway murder trial that's going on right now, if I were the defense attorneys, I would be entering this as evidence right now because there's no telling if that man not doing what he did might not have led to a similar situation just like this, especially now knowing that even though they're trying to blame the chokehold, dude left the scene with a pulse. That wasn't in. I mean, you even had a special witness for the defense pointing out that the chokehold wasn't done in a way that should have resulted in death. Now, look, I have been in situations where I've had to make split decisions, and I'm going to tell everybody the same thing that I've told every person that I've ever trained that ever wore a badge and a gun. If you have to choose between being carried by 6 and judged by 12, I know which way I'm choosing. The rest is up to you. So, look, the simple fact of the matter is, if this had happened anywhere else besides New York City, the man wouldn't have never even been put on trial. But because they have all of these Soros-appointed DAs, Soros-funded appointed DAs, and everything that they're trying to do to make New York City and the surrounding New York State area a revolving door on crime. I wonder why that is. I mean, if we're gonna talk about this, we have to legit talk about it. Why are they trying to do everything they can to allow people to terrorize the citizenry? Because that's exactly what's happening. Nobody wants to call it that. Nobody wants to put that face on it, but that's the truth of it. These Democrat-led governments, whether it's citywide, statewide, whatever, are allowing people to terrorize everyday average citizens and protecting them while they do so. These are the things that we used to see in comic books in cities like Gotham. This is insane. I cannot believe that we live in a world today where thankfully that is hopefully about to change, but I cannot believe that we live in a world today where the people that are committing the crimes are more protected than the people that they're committing the crimes against. This is the exact opposite of everything that our legal system was ever supposed to be founded upon. This is the exact opposite of everything that our country was founded on. But I say all of this to you primarily as a warning, but also as a hope that as Donald Trump comes more and more close to being sworn in, and I'm telling you guys, I think the deep state's still going to try something. I could be wrong, and I hope to God that I am, but I still think the deep state's going to try something. But saying all of this, as he continues to appoint his cabinet members, and I know that people are pissed off about some of his cabinet picks. I haven't been that happy about them either in some cases. But again, you get what you voted for, folks. This man has never been a conservative Republican. He's always been a populist. And he's putting together a cabinet that spans all aspects of our government spectrum, which, in my opinion, at this point, may be something that we need. Now, I know that a lot of people are upset about the pick for, I think it was Surgeon General, because apparently she was like big into masking and everything else. I've been reading if I'm remembering correctly, I've been reading information that she may have evolved a lot of stances on there, and a lot of folks did. I mean, hell, even one of the people that I work with at Twitchy, who's the managing editor over there, originally got one of the vaccines because she was going to be around people that were considered having high comorbidity rates. And even she's pointed out, as people have, this didn't age well with her talking about getting the vaccine. She's like, yeah, I wish I would have known then what I know now, because I probably wouldn't have gotten it. But at the time, I went with the best information that I had. A lot of people were that way. a lot of people have evolved their opinions over the vaccines. I wasn't exactly terrified of them in the beginning either. I just didn't think they were going to do what the mental midget of the Potomac was telling everybody that they were going to do, because they didn't. The simple fact of the matter is, natural immunity has always been our best defense to everything. Now, most vaccines help boost your natural immunity. This one seems to have overridden it, which is why they kept telling you that you needed to get every new booster that came out so that your immune system could be recoded to fight the newest variant. This is that's the weirdest thing for me, is this whole thing was like a software patch. I've never seen a vaccine like that. And now they're making mRNA vaccines commonly used for almost everything, which is why some of us have huge concerns about vaccines now that maybe we didn't even have before. I mean, I do know that there seems to be some sort of a correlation happening between the increase in vaccines that we give to our children and the increase in the rate of autism. If we can discount that, then we need to discount that and move on. But we're only going to be able to do that if there's somebody that we can trust that will say, "Hey, we've looked into this. This is what we found, and we need to move on to the next potential causal factor." I respect that. That's the scientific method. You always start with what you think first, and then as you perform your research and you do all those things that you do when you're researching things, your opinion can change. If science didn't evolve, everybody would still think the world was flat. Unfortunately, there are people today that still believe the world is flat. I'm not judging any of them. I just don't understand that concept, because there's ample evidence that this is not the case. But there was ample evidence that came out in 2020 that everything that we were being told about about COVID by the people that we were supposed to trust the science, they were lying to us. And I know this because there was an article that came out over the weekend that basically said that is now widely known that that COVID escaped from a lab. They still won't tell you how it escaped, and that there was a cover up. Now, we at KLR and radio were trying to tell people this way back then. One of my co-hosts, who's still my co-host, we were doing a morning show at the time as kind of a joke when it was 2 weeks to sow the spread, and the place that I worked for at the time said, "Okay, you guys get to go home and do your job for 2 weeks." I didn't want to get used to being able to roll out of bed at 8:15 when I was having to drive 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. So we started a morning show. During that morning show, as more and more data came out, we started trying to tell everybody something about this doesn't make any sense. That show got buried. We went from hundreds of people paying attention to us every morning to almost none. She was writing articles for PJ Media at the time, and they were making her put her stuff behind paywalls because they were afraid they were going to get ripped to shreds. Now, I'm not judging anybody who was trying to keep their livelihood afloat during all of this mess. I'm really not. But I'm not one of those people. I am not going to sugarcoat just to hope that I get more views and better reach. I'm not going to lie to people. I've never been that way. Even if my opinion changes, I will tell you when it's changed. That's why you can go back and watch the arc from me from 2016 to today and all the times that I've gone back and forth on Donald Trump. And in the beginning, I couldn't stand the dude, didn't want him to be in office. And then he got into office. And then suddenly it didn't really make any sense to be rooting for the guy that was currently, flying the plane that we're all in to crash it. That's why I don't understand Never Trump, even to this day. I don't get it. It made sense to me during the time that we thought we were going to be able to stop him and thought that was the best thing that could have happened. We were wrong. The best thing that could have happened for everybody was for his own party to get out of his way once he got into office, and we probably wouldn't even be having most of the conversation that we're still having today. Because we saw the things that he was trying to do, and they actually worked. Because we saw all of these things that we didn't expect him to be able to do, and he managed to do them. This is why when people were permitted to see the difference between, and again, I will take 20 out of the equation and 21 out of the equation for both sides. When people were allowed to see the first 3 years versus the last 3 years for Trump and Biden, they were like, no, we need more of this again. And even now, even with the media still trying to do everything they can to throw everything they can at him, dude's approval rating is finally starting to creep up. Most of America wants to see what he's going to be able to do with his cabinet picks. You've got people that are pissed off over Matt Gaetz stepping aside. I was honestly surprised to see him do that, and I respect him for that because he knew the fight that was about to be coming, and he didn't want to detract or distract from Donald Trump being able to get his stuff implemented within the first 100 days. But this is what happens when you fight an entire half of the country and a media conglomerate that I not so lovingly call the zombie media, because even now they're like, well, look at all these people that are sexual predators, and look at this person that he's trying to put on the cabinet that's on a no-fly list. This is not the argument that you think you're making. You're making the exact opposite argument, because this means that the people that have power and influence have way too much of that. And it means that they're able to paint everybody with a broad brush, just like they've been doing to half the country for the last 9 years. Y'all are a bunch of terrorists. I mean, hell, even under Obama, we were bitter clingers. We were bitter clingers to our Bibles, our guns, and our freedom. And that's never going to change from me. If you expect it to change, then you haven't been paying attention enough. I don't care who comes to power. I don't care what they try to do. I don't care what they try to say. If they do things that I disagree with, then I'm going to call them out. That's why Dana Loesch right now is taking a lot of flack for speaking out openly about a couple of these potential appointments that she absolutely doesn't like, because the former attorney general in Florida did some, kind of shady things regarding Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, and she doesn't like that. Again, I don't know enough about it yet to comment. I'd planned on looking into it over this weekend, but got busy trying to do a million other things, including put together a very successful UFO panel. So I'm glad for everybody that tuned in for that one. But it's like I've been saying. You can either listen to the people that basically go in and decide what their point of view is and find information to support that particular point of view, and it's the only side that they give you. Or you can watch shows like this one, where I half the time, folks, I don't even pre-read the stuff that I talk to you about on the show. I go through and I find headlines that I think are going to be interesting for you guys, and then we react to the information together so that you can see my honest first reaction. I'm not one of those people. I will pull sourcing from anywhere if I think it's relevant. And I do it all the time. Now, I do spend a lot of time on Town Hall Properties because they pay part of my bills, and I'm going to support them. I spend a lot of time pushing KLR radio content because the bigger we get, the more my bills get paid through that. But it's not because I only want one point of view. As a matter of fact, for those of you who know me and have been watching this kind of stuff or listening to it, because it started as audio podcast way back in the day, for those of you who know me, then you know that this originally started as what we used to call the low-rent podcast version of Hannity and Combs, because we started it right around the time that Hannity and Combs went off the air. And I had a liberal co-host for a long time. I actually had a couple of them, because as the show kept going, one of the hosts had to step away, because I've always been willing to give everybody a voice who's willing to put themselves out there. Because I don't believe that all of the answers are only in one place. As a matter of fact, I still to this day firmly believe that in most cases, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I still believe that. It's why I've been so happy to see Donald Trump pulling in people that a lot of people have a problem with. Because again, as somebody who is, has run businesses for a long time, when you're working on making deals with people, usually if everybody's unhappy by the time you're done, you've done it right. Same goes for business and politics. All right, so on that note, we're going to take a quick break. I am going to try to see if I can fix my camera while we're on break, because it is officially driving me nuts that I keep having to play peekaboo with you people. But we'll be right back. Sorry, I did not have a Thanksgiving-related bumper loaded. We'll try to fix that on the way back in. My name's Rick Robinson. If you could please do me a favor, because I see a lot of you starting to trickle in. I actually have better numbers than I expected for the Monday before Thanksgiving. So if you would be so kind, please make sure to share the feed, like the feed, push us out wherever you're happening to find us, because the algorithms are even more of a bitch than Al Gore himself. We'll be right back. You're listening to us live on KLRNradio.com and ACHRmedia.com.
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars. Come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
My dad was really, really special, and I loved my dad a lot.
I'm proud of him, and that even though he isn't here with us, but he died as a true hero.
I miss everything about him.
In the moment that the officers and I had to come see the children, my biggest reaction was, I don't have 7 arms. I have 7 children who just lost their father, and I don't have 7 arms to wrap around them.
I'm Frank Silla, chairman of the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Our foundation is committed to delivering mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families.
To not have to worry financially is a huge peace of mind. The thought of, what in the world will I possibly do to pay the bills? How will I possibly let the children have a life that feels normal? I don't want them to have to quit their piano lessons or their basketball. I don't want them to feel that we have to move into a little apartment and struggle financially in addition to the emotional weight.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risked their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Those who serve us and then lay down their lives protecting our freedoms and our safety, the least we can do is $11 a month to give them that peace of always knowing there's a home, there's that sanctuary when life feels like it's been tipped upside down, because it has. When you lose a parent in the line of duty, to know you can go home, you can be safe, there's no risk of losing your home. That's a peace of mind that I can't believe you can get for $11 a month.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts.
Please donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our government was established to secure these rights and for the good that comes from exercising them well. This is why the founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire. Hillsdale College, pursuing truth and defending liberty since 1844.
Ready to learn some medieval combat, kiddo?
You bet, Dad. Let's do this.
You know, spending quality time with your kids is important. But finding a fun and safe way to do it can really be a challenge. That's where halberds come in. Halberds are the perfect way to bond with your kid while teaching them about history and physical fitness. Plus, they're a blast to play with. So next time you're looking for some family fun activity, grab a halberd and get ready to make some memories.
Come on, Dad. Round 2.
Halberds, bringing families together one medieval battle at a time. This commercial brought to you by the KLRNradio.com Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Turkey in your belly time, turkey in your belly time, turkey in your belly time. Now where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Now here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. Now turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly. Do the turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly with a big drumstick. Do the turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly with a big drumstick. Now where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Now here you go, here you go, here you go, here we go. Now turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly. Do the turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly with a big drumstick. Do the turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly with a big drumstick. Now break it down and eat. 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 Now where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Now here you go, here you go, here you go, here we go. Now turkey in your belly, turkey in your belly.
And we're almost there, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of days away from Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's enjoying this special Monday edition of the Rick Robinson Show live right here on KLRMradio.com. And again, we're going to be doing a short schedule this week. So shows on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll be off, of course, for Thanksgiving. Then Friday, I will be catching up with writing on Twitchy and a couple other places where I haven't been able to put things out in a while because I have been focusing more on the radio side of things as we continue to grow. And again, want to thank everybody hanging out with me today for this special Monday episode. I got a lot more people showing up already than I thought I would, especially with it being a few days before Thanksgiving. So you guys are amazing. I don't mean that in any kind of tongue-in-cheek way or anything else. I'm being completely serious. You guys are amazing because so many of you show up, especially since we started doing this whole broadcasting to X thing, that it's just astounding to me. We've always had good numbers everywhere else, but we get great numbers on X and sometimes really great numbers on X. We've had shows that I remember one of our first ever debate roundtables we put on X. By the time we were done, we had over 8,000 people watching us from all the different feeds that we had available. So Saturday night was a lot like that. We had people watching all over the place. And thanks to our partnerships with folks like Manorama and SHR Media, they're like, do you care if we put this stuff out on our channels too? I'm like, dude, my branding's all over it. I don't care. Put it everywhere. That's what we're trying to do, is work together to take over the world, as the Chiron says at the bottom. Just read it. We don't lie to you about it. I do promise that when we do eventually take over the world, we will be benevolent dictators for at least the first 2 weeks. After that, all bets are off. All right. So I feel like we kind of need to talk about this because this is probably one of my newer favorite shows. Now, granted, I haven't watched this week's episode yet, but I found this to be absolutely amazing. I'm trying to find it. Where did it go? I thought I bookmarked it. I guess I didn't, but I know I've seen it somewhere. So hang on. Because if nothing else, I think I saw it on Red State. Well, I'm pretty sure I saw it there, and now I don't. Hang on. There we go. I knew it was here somewhere. So this is from one of Taylor Sheridan's newest shows. If you don't know who that is, then you've probably been living under a rock, and I'm not sure I can help you. However, he is the creative vision behind shows like Yellowstone, Tulsa King, and a few others. And he's another one that is kind of become an inspiration of mine because He was once told he would never amount to anything, and now he's a household name. So hang on. I'm going to go ahead and make the chat go away for a second just to make this as big as possible. So you guys feel free to talk amongst yourselves. And then for everybody who's watching from different places, you'll be able to catch up as soon as I turn it back on. So hang on.
Have any idea how much diesel they have to burn to mix that much concrete or make that steel and haul this shit out?
We should have volumes. Oh, wait, hang on. I know why we don't have volumes. That's a me problem, not a y'all problem. Hang on. Let's try this again. I may have to refresh the feed. All right, one moment, please. This is why I usually try. Let me do this instead. Hang on. See if, because this way, if nothing else, I do have it bookmarked. So hang on. So we should have it on the feed for you guys. Hang on. All right, so yeah, like I said, so far one of my favorite newer shows on Paramount Plus is that one. I have not been a huge fan of Yellowstone this season. I honestly kind of wish they'd have left it alone when Costner decided he wasn't coming back. I don't like the show as much without him there. I also don't really like how they ended things with him either. But then again, I've also only watched like one episode so far, so I will probably watch the rest of them because, as far as I know, I think this is the last season of it anyway. But the one piece of information that I take issue with in that entire clip is him saying that eventually we're going to run out of it before we find our replacement. That is not true. That is not true because the whole reason everybody thought we were going to run out of it in the first place was started by the same guy who founded our education system. Had a last name of Rockefeller, who was telling everybody at the time that he didn't want educated, well-educated people. He wanted people that were just basically, the easiest way to put it is he wanted people that were just educated enough to be able to perform tasks, but not educated enough to think for themselves. Now, it's not an exact quote, but that's basically what he meant. This is the point that I'm trying to make. This was a left-leaning billionaire at the time when nobody really knew what a billionaire was yet. Now you got the first trillionaire apparently out in Saudi Arabia somewhere. But look, all of this started during the Industrial Revolution. You know, most people before the Industrial Revolution got about anywhere between 2 to 4 hours of schooling a day. And then they went home and did the things that they needed to do. Then after the Industrial Revolution, people like Rockefeller started figuring out that they needed a workforce that was willing to basically go mindless roams for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. You know what he discovered? That if you put somebody, it takes about 12 years to indoctrinate somebody. Our entire education system, from the time that the people that started funding it in what they told you was altruism, has been designed for one reason: to indoctrinate you. And if you don't see that now with what you're seeing coming out of our supposed vaunted education systems, then I don't have the patience or the crayons to draw you the pictures anymore to try to prove it to you, because they're showing you exactly what they wanted to have happen. We have so many people now who don't want to advance anywhere. They just want to get a job at McDonald's and have it pay their bills for the rest of their lives because they don't care, because they've been told not to care. This is what we've been fighting against for forever. And unfortunately, the powers that be have wanted it that way for a very long time. And what happens when people come out and they start saying, no, this isn't the way to do things, all of a sudden, we're the assholes. We're the communists. We're the Russian sympathizers. No, our entire education system is based on indoctrination. Half of our education system is based on the communist theories. Why do you think they teach them so often in college? Because if they can get you to think collectively, then they win. And if you don't think it's happening, just look at the left right now. Just look at everything that's happening on the left right now because they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get what they expected. This happened in 2016 in an even larger scale, but it's happening still now today, and still barely anybody's talking about it. But this is something that I want to share with you that is both funny and terrifying at the same time. And these things have been popping up all over. Just give this a watch.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
All right, sorry, I wasn't expecting that to loop, but there you have it. This is one of the things that I'm talking about. These people are totally unhinged to the point where they believe everything that they're told. Nobody wants to talk about the fact of how a reservist colonel has been put on a no-fly list. She needs a full FBI background check. She needs this. She needs that. Dude, she's got security clearances. How in the hell was she put on a no-fly list? Who did that? And why did they do it? Because she spoke out against the regime. The same people that are telling you that Donald Trump is going to be the biggest dictator ever are the same ones being allowed to say it. It makes all of it a lie. If you can openly speak out against the biggest dictator ever, guess who's not going to be the biggest dictator ever? But do you know who punishes people when they speak out? The left does. All the time. All the time. Look at what happened to the mayor of New York City. The moment he was going to the White House to talk to them about the fact that their immigration policies were unsustainable, this sword of Damocles that was apparently hanging over his head this entire time got dropped because he wasn't carrying the party line anymore. These people have convinced you we're the bad guys. For anybody who's listening from the other side, because I know y'all tune in. Sometimes it's to point and laugh, but sometimes I can reach at least one of you. But I say all of this to you because all of these people that have been telling you about scarcity and all these things that don't really exist until the government gets involved in it, when in reality, all they're doing is orchestrating their own narrative to make you believe that there needs to be less people, that there needs to be more control. Because that's what they do. It's what they always do. And up until now, both parties have basically wanted the same thing. That's the part that nobody wants to tell you. The only difference between the two parties up until now was one wanted to get us there in a bullet train, hoping we wouldn't notice, and the other wants to get us there in a railroad handcar, hoping that we wouldn't notice as we moved incrementally towards the same thing that the other side actually wants. The problem is they overplayed their hand during COVID. And they have lost control. That's why you heard Hillary Clinton over and over again. We have to reinstate censorship or we're going to never be able to retake control. When the media and the government are both calling to censor you, the American public, that's a huge problem. The media used to be the supposedly the bastion for the public. Now they're telling you that you don't have a right or even the inclination to tell people the things that you've seen and heard with your own eyes. Because they can't have you do that. Because if you do that, then you are the problem. Hang on. I got another clip I want to get to real quick. Just watch this. This is what I'm talking about right here.
Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is, bullshit, you're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all, I've got to say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage that's flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down, about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do. Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news. What you do matters. What the New York Times does matters. What the Wall Street Journal does matters. What Jonathan Lemire does matters. What the Financial Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. It matters.
It doesn't matter to your viewers, bro, because they don't watch you anymore. Look, I get it. They're used to being the gatekeepers of information. That's why they're freaking out right now. They used to be able to tell you what to think. And the scariest thing is they figured out how well that worked after Watergate. That's when media really changed. And since then it's never been the same, because it used to be a not-for-profit. After Watergate, people figured out they could make money telling these kind of stories, and then it all became about clicks and ratings and everything else. Look, I'm going to say what I always say. For those of you that watch shows like this one, thank you very much. For those of you who know people that are always talking about the household names that everybody knows about, remind them that if they would spend half as much time talking about shows like this one, and I'm not talking about even KLRN Radio specifically, just shows that are grassroots movement shows, lives could be changed. The monetization is all there now. It's everywhere. All we need to do is have one idea catch fire and then lives start changing. But it's too hard to break through the algorithm, even on places like X. That's why you hear us, and dude, I get emails about this all the time. Why are you always telling people to like and share your stuff? If they really liked it, they'd already be doing it. Because it's the only way we're ever going to get noticed. And if you like what we're doing, the more we get noticed, the easier it is for us to keep doing it. Because this is my livelihood now. This is part of it. The more I make doing this, the easier it is for me to do the other things that I want to do. I've got a news arm basically sitting dormant because I don't have enough money coming in to run all three things that I'm trying to do. I'm not saying that to beg for money. That's not what this is about. It's just the truth of it. The money potential is already there. It really is. But we have to be able to get noticed first. Some of these people have already broken through. They don't need you as much as we need you. And I'm not telling you not to promote whoever you want to promote. I'm telling you, take a little bit out of your day to promote the smaller groups too. Because I know when some of you are like, well, maybe people would promote you more if your studio looked more professional, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's an email I've gotten too. Look, we all had to start somewhere. And that's my whole point. If you want people to tell you what they think and bring the news to you in a way that you actually enjoy, then you need to start supporting it. Otherwise, you can keep watching folks like MSDNC and everybody else and basically, be told what to think. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's never been what I've tried to do here. But speaking of people not getting what they want and freaking out, this will probably be the last hit before we take the break. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up on the screen for everybody here. This is again from our friends over at Red State. Climate activists demand $5 trillion a year and storm out of COP29 when they don't get their way. Dun, dun, dun. Greta Thunberg, how dare you, was nowhere to be seen. The climate doomsayer grift activist, famous for lecturing world leaders with her infamous "How dare you," didn't attend COP29. The now 21-year-old wasn't invited to Azerbaijan. Instead, Thunberg was in the Russian vassal state of Georgia at the start of the conference to do her "How dare you" routine. Azerbaijan is a repressive, occupying state which is committed ethnic cleansing and which is continuing to crack down on Azerbaijani civil society. She charged that the Caspian Sea nation has used the summit as a chance to greenwash their crimes and human rights abuses. Few people listen to Thunberg any longer. She isn't the button-nosed 16-year-old who, by the rules, we weren't allowed to mock. Now she's an adult. She gets a couple of headlines and disappears to be seen later. COP29 just wrapped up. It was the 29th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. And if you needed any further proof that we should remove ourselves from and help dismantle the United Nations, you really need to look no further than there. So quite the mouthful. COP was the brainchild of a 1992 agreement around the time that Al Gore told us polar bears would be extinct by COP29 and a treaty attached to the Paris Agreement. COP29 wrapped up with a lot of noise, actual noise, like a bunch of kindergartners who didn't get their cookies. Developing nations, grifters that didn't get their way, so they walked out in a huff. Developed nations grifted, had agreed to pay billions, not enough. How dare you? The grifters want trillions. Germany's foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, said the oil-rich countries and fossil fuel emitters ripped off the grifters. We are in the midst of a geopolitical power play by a few fossil fuel states, Baerbock said. We Europeans will not allow the most vulnerable states in the world, especially the small island states, to be ripped off by some of the new rich fossil fuel emitters, Baerbock added. She feels safe saying that because her nation is fairly insulated. Germany has practically no oil production. Germany started 2 world wars and imports its natural gas from Russia, but it can stomp its feet and yell, "Don't blame us." The deal agreed to was $300 billion over 10 years. Fuck you. And to put this in better parlance, hang on. Go fuck yourselves. I don't want any more of our money going to shit like this because it's stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change is the biggest grift known to man. And at this point, we're going to have to leave that lie because I just realized we're over top of the hour. So for those of you that might be listening on Spreaker, there will be a brief interruption while we change over. Everybody else should be fine. Hang out for a minute and a few minutes, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars, come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
My dad was really, really special, and I loved my dad a lot.
I'm proud of him, and that even though he isn't here with us, but he died as a true hero.
I miss everything about him.
In the moment that the officers and I had to come see the children, my biggest reaction was, I don't have 7 arms. I have 7 children who just lost their father, and I don't have 7 arms to wrap around them.
I'm Frank Silla, chairman of the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Our foundation is committed to delivering mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families.
To not have to worry financially is a huge peace of mind. The thought of, what in the world will I possibly do to pay the bills? How will I possibly let the children have a life that feels normal? I don't want them to have to quit their piano lessons or their basketball. I don't want them to feel that we have to move into a little apartment and struggle financially in addition to the emotional weight.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risk their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Those who serve us and then lay down their lives protecting our freedoms and our safety, the least we can do is $11 a month to give them that peace of always knowing there's a home, there's that sanctuary when life feels like it's been tipped upside down, because it has, when you lose a parent in the line of duty, to know you can go home, you can be safe, there's no risk of losing your home. That's a peace of mind that I can't believe you can get for $11 a month.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts.
Please donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our government was established to secure these rights and for the good that comes from exercising them well. This is why the founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire. Hillsdale College, pursuing truth and defending liberty since 1844.
Ready to learn some medieval combat, kiddo?
You bet, Dad. Let's do this.
You know, spending quality time with your kids is important, but finding a fun and safe way to do it can really be a challenge. That's where halberds come in. Halberds are the perfect way to bond with your kid while teaching them about history and physical fitness. Plus, they're a blast to play with. So next time you're looking for some family fun activity, grab a halberd and get ready to make some memories.
Come on, Dad. Round 2.
Halberds, bringing families together one medieval battle at a time. This commercial brought to you by the KLRNradio.com Ad Council.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is.
They want to hear the Thanksgiving song. All right. This is a Thanksgiving song. I hope you enjoy it. Love to eat turkey. Love to eat turkey. I love you. Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat. So good. That clapping's messing my head up, man. I appreciate it, but I was trying to think of the next line. I'm like, all I hear is clapping. Here we go. Thanks anyways. Turkey for me, turkey for you. Let's eat the turkey in my big brown shoe. Love to eat the turkey at the table. I once saw a movie with Betty Grable. Eat that turkey all night long. 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Turkey lurkey do and turkey lurkey dap. I eat that turkey, then I take a nap. Thanksgiving is a special night. Jimmy Walker used to say dynamite. That's right. Turkey with gravy and cranberry. Can't believe the Mets traded Darryl Strawberry. Turkey for you and turkey for me. Can't believe Tyson gave that girl BD. White meat, dark meat, you just can't lose. I fell off my moped and I got a bruise. Turkey in the oven and the buns in the toaster. I'll never take down my Cheryl Teagues poster. Wrap the turkey up in aluminum foil. My brother likes to masturbate with baby oil. Turkey and sweet potato pie. Sammy Davis Jr. only had one eye. Oh, turkey for the girls and turkey for the boys. My favorite kind of pants are corduroys. Gobble, gobble, goo, and gobble, gobble, giggle. I wish turkey only cost a nickel. Oh, I love turkey on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it is Thanksgiving time, and we are having a little bit more fun than we normally do in the early parts of the week. Normally Fridays where we do all the fun stuff, or as much of it as we can find. However, we're not doing a show this Friday. We also won't be doing one on Thanksgiving, so we're going to kind of spread the fun out a little bit throughout the week. So without further ado, I found something that I thought was rather funny while we were on break. So let me get this set up for you guys. Hang on. And you should be seeing it now, and I'll make it a little bit bigger on the screen. Oh, man. It's going to start being dumb. Hang on. Now let me fix that. Okay, hang on. Usually when it's being this dumb, if I minimize it, it'll play better. I don't know why it's being dumb right now. Or not. right, sorry for the skippage there, but I don't know if it's internet related or if there was something going on with that particular clip. I'm going to try to refresh X while I'm not on that screen and see if that makes it cleaner for the next time. And I guess we will find out together. Because if it goes away, that means it's my internet. If not, it means it was something to do with that video. And it looks like it may have been something to do with that video because refreshing seems to have fixed it. Go figure. All right. Well, yeah, sometimes I never know if it's on my end or on theirs. So sometimes it's better to play it safe. All right. So now we got to get back into the serious stuff a little bit. Sorry, it has to happen. This is again from our friends at Red State. We'll be changing over here in a minute, but this was the last one I had on the sack of stuff for them. So, and so I have a rebuttal to this, but we're going to go through the article a little bit first. Tulsi Gabbard accused of being compromised and a cult member ahead of her confirmation hearing. This is by Strafe, 10:30 a.m. Dateline today. With Matt Gaetz out of the picture, the left and the GOP establishment have turned their guns on Tulsi Gabbard as their next target. President-elect Donald Trump selected Gabbard to be his director of national intelligence, and while one has a right to question whether there is anything in her background or experience that qualifies her to lead America's intelligence community, the direction the opposition is going is both unprincipled and unconstitutional. For a time, the Biden-Harris administration placed Gabbard on a Quiet Skies watch list. While not a terrorism watch list per se, Quiet Skies did subject Americans to enhanced screening and scrutiny based on her overseas travel and foreign connections. So this is from CNN. President-elect Donald Trump intel picked Tulsi Gabbard was briefly placed on a government watch list for overseas travel and foreign connections earlier this year. Yeah, wonder why that was. Gabbard was an officer in the U.S. Army Reserves at the time. We don't know what briefly means, and all of this begs the question of how the federal government was aware of her quote-unquote quote, overseas travel and foreign connections. This attack is reminiscent of the way the Obama administration placed Carter Page under illegal FISA monitoring, leaked the fact that the surveillance existed, and then used the illegal spying as evidence that Page was a foreign asset or foreign agent. It is also a political heckler's veto. It gives the bureaucracy the power to eliminate potential threats by placing them on some sort of watch list controlled by bureaucrats and using the action as a disqualification for office. The second line of attack against Gabbard is that she is compromised somehow. And let's see if this clip will play. Hang on.
Relationships with America's foes. And so my worry is that she couldn't pass a background check.
So, you know, you are a Democrat. You are in the minority now in the United States Senate. If she can find the votes among Republicans likely to get confirmed, it sounds like that would worry you to have her in that job.
Very much so. She has no intelligence background whatsoever. When she was in Iraq, she was a medical records clerk E4, below the rank of sergeant. Her second deployment was actually to Kuwaiti Naval Base, where she only spent 3 months training the Kuwaiti military. So, and I don't know of any intelligence work that she has done. So she.
Hang on. Let's check something real quick, because I'm pretty sure she's wrong about one big point. Maybe not. That's weird. I always thought E4 were sergeants because they always talk about the E4 mafia, but apparently they're not. So I may have been mistaken. Let me double check Air Force ranks though. Hang on. Yep, I guess E4 would be a senior airman. I didn't even know that existed. I think they've added some ranks over the years because I don't ever remember, because it used to be based on stripes. Anyway, I guess some people were like, We don't feel special enough. So maybe they added some new ranks or something. But okay. So I thought I was going to get to fact check Duckworth, but apparently I don't, because she's right. She was actually just below technically sergeant level, which I guess would be E5 now.
She is, in terms of the intelligence community, very unqualified. Plus, she is potentially compromised and could be, and there are questions about whether or not she is now a Russian asset.
You believe that she could be?
Notice how that's always their answer to everything, though. Oh, we can't have that person in office. They're a Russian asset. Hang on, let me fix that because that was not what I meant to do. But yeah, we can't have that person in office because they're a Russian asset. That's their answer to everything. It's always Russia, Russia, Russia. Nobody wanted to talk about Tim Walz's ties to China. None of that. It didn't matter that dude like honeymooned in Tiananmen Square, which is really fucking weird, or at least, and got married even on the date of the Tiananmen Square massacre because it was a date that he knew he would never forget. Dude, seriously, these people, they have one thing. That's it. They are like one-trick ponies. As soon as they lose power, oh my God, everybody that we hate is a Russian asset.
Be a Russian asset?
I think that she is someone who is wholly backing and supportive of Putin, and I worry that she will not have America's best interest at heart.
I want to just quickly, because you've said about several of the nominees that they're not qualified. Mm-hmm. But I just want to kind of give the perspective of Donald Trump and the people who put him in, which is he wants to put people in who are disruptors into these agencies to really change things up. So just to play devil's advocate, when it's advise and consent, is there something to be said for the American people voted for him for this kind of government and let him have those people who are going to disrupt?
No, that's our system of government. We have checks and balances. We want people who can run those organizations. They can be disruptors, but they can still run those organizations. The VA is a good example. The VA has been having a terrible issue with their electronic medical records program. Hopefully, Doug Collins gets in there and is a disruptor and does something with that. So there are ways to be disruptors without actually putting people who have never run an organization larger than a platoon to be Secretary of Defense.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, I got nothing for these people other than disdain and contempt, if that counts. That's pretty much all I have. So this is something that actually was left on the cutting room floor the other day, so we're going to get to it now. Hang on. Because this was kind of a big deal, and I wanted to talk about it, and we ran out of time because of other things that were going on. So, one moment, please. I'm not even going to give a preface on this. We're just going to watch it and then talk about it. So hang on. And of course, now everything's going to be dumb again. Did this to me last time. So hang on. Let's do this.
Was just on unions. The president has talked so much about being the most pro-union president ever. This week, the DNC staff union put out a pretty scathing note saying that so many DNC staffers have gotten laid off, no severance, they were shocked. I'm just curious, from an optics perspective, the vice president left town to go to Hawaii on vacation. Does the president think that's appropriate when so many DNC staffers are literally wondering what they're going to do for work?
All right, let's not twist this in so many knots here. First of all, to your first part of your question, it's not the president who called himself the most pro-union president. It's other unions that have called him that, and he is proud to be called the most pro-union president ever. That is something that he was given to him, and he is proud to own that. And it's not because it's a frivolous statement. It is because he has shown, he's not just spoken, but taken action, and has had the back of union members and union workers throughout his presidency. As it relates to the DNC, I would have to refer you to the DNC.
Does it look bad for the vice president to go to Hawaii while DNC staffers are just wondering what they're going to do for work?
The vice president has taken time off to go spend time with her family. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think she deserves some time to be with her family and to have some downtime. She has worked very hard over the last 4 years, and her taking a couple of days to be with her family, good for her. Good for her.
We haven't gotten to the best part yet, but I have to stop this. What exactly has she been doing for the last 4 years? She deserves to take a fucking vacation. I'm sorry if I'm being an asshole, but I'm okay with that. What has she actually done for the last 4 years where she even deserves to take a vacation? You know the last time I've taken a vacation? 2019. It's 2024. You know why I haven't taken a vacation? Because I've been working my ass off. Because under this economy, I've had no choice but to work my ass off. I'm now back to pretty much working 7 days a week until I'm so tired that I can't move. And then I take a couple days off. And then I'm behind because the only way to do all the things that I need to do is to be able to work 7 days a week. Because this economy has sucked for 4 years. 4 years. So no, she didn't deserve to take a vacation. She deserves to be ran out of town on a rail, along with the whole fucking Biden administration. As far as I'm concerned, they should 25th Amendment him and her.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
That was the face of somebody who knows she's not going to do this job very much soon, and won't be doing this job anymore soon, and doesn't give a shit anymore. She's just done. And I'm sorry, she should have been gone a long time ago. You know why she's not gone? Because everything Biden did was based in DI, and if he got rid of her, it would have torpedoed his presidency even faster. You know why Kamilama Hamasnik didn't get the gig? Because America's done with fucking DEI. That's why. I'm going to say this again. If you have someone coming into power that you are comfortable enough to speak out against, he is not the dictator that you think he is, nor is he going to be the one that you assume he's going to be. Because otherwise, people would already be coming after you. The only people that I have seen acting as fascists and dictators are the left, because if you don't carry their mindset, you don't deserve to have their attention. We've seen this now with the exodus over to Blue Cries, which I think is absolutely amazing. And now you're seeing all these media stories trying to spin it as if, well, the right's gone too far now because all the leftists are leaving X and they're going to have nobody to argue with. Good. Great. Awesome. I don't care. You know what? We can't wake any more of you up, most likely, than we already have, because some of you are so ingrained in the whole zombie media thing that you've become zombies yourself. You only believe the information that comes from places like MSDNC, the Communist News Network, and everywhere else, because you don't want to believe anybody else. And it's just nuts that that's the country that we live in today, because we used to be able to come together and have discussions. We don't anymore. I wish we did. But we don't. And here is a column from Kurt Schlichter, who, if anybody has an in with this dude, ask him why the hell he unfollowed me, because I still don't know. And I can't get his attention to find out. Anyway, so not really going to put this one up on the screen, I don't think. It might be. Nope, it's not. You know what? I'll go ahead and put it on the screen. Who cares? Except I thought it was on there already. Except for some reason it's not. So one moment, please. Where did it go? Anyway, I know what I did. Hang on. So this is from Kurt Schlichter, and I kind of 1,000% agree with this particular sentiment. This will probably be the last thing we talk about before we go to the bottom of the hour break. I can't believe we're already halfway through the show. The Capitol Hill GOP is, as usual, the weakest link. Not really surprising, though. Too bad Trump can't be the dictator on day one that the commies claimed he would be, because the Republicans in Congress seem committed to making things much more difficult than they have to be. They need to get on board or get out of the way. We've lost one nominee already, and they are showing that familiar wobbliness. Hey, I'm insulted. Anyway, some of you got that joke, some of you didn't. It's okay. That they always get about Pete Hegseth and several others. They have announced no clear plans for the first 100 days. And when someone does not tell you the plan, you can assume that there is no plan. Plus, they seem to be going back to their old habits of selecting congressional leadership, not based on core attributes like merit, loyalty, and lib owning. Trump 2.0 is focused and eager to keep his promises and make America great again. The GOP Congress seems to be far too focused on business as usual. This will not do. The old school GOP types are failing to read the big America-shaped room. There's a new sheriff in town, and you better not leave him to face the bad guys all alone at high noon. An election is coming in just 2 short years. 2026 should be, if history is any guide, a bloodbath for the president's party, but it does not have to be. Trump has shown that the old rules do not apply. This could be a triumph, but the Republicans in the House and the Senate need to get on board. It's either the Trump dance or the usual failure kabuki dance. I say let's go with YMCA. First, we need some unity on Trump's appointments. I know some of them are not to GOP Squish's liking. Too bad. Advise and consent is a thing. Since I am not smarter than the founders, I am not advocating that they rubber stamp anyone, but if you oppose a Trump nominee, it had better be for a better reason than deep state hacks are upset, or she allegedly loves Putin, or the dim go-to of bogus sex charges. You would think that after Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh, they would realize how the scam works, and I worked on Capitol Hill for a little while. Please spare me the feigned shock and horror that somebody scored some booty on the side. We need unity to the extent we can get it. We know Lisa Murkowski is the worst and that Susan Collins has to be a Maine Republican, but everyone else needs to fall into formation. We do not have time for showboats, wimps, or losers. I like John Thune's Marvel villain name, and he needs to channel that vibe by bringing down the hammer. No slackers, no dissenters, no more scalps for the Democrats. Over in the House, Mike Johnson has his work cut out for him. With a narrow majority, complicated by several folks off for administration jobs, but he already wavered on the transsexual bathroom issue before finding some spine and taking a stand. His problem is that he wants to be nice, while the rest of us want to be victorious. Nice will not cut it. He has a key role in getting the Trump agenda passed. What's the plan? What are the priorities? Who knows? Not us. There has been a long tradition of the GOP caucus leadership keeping us and the members in the dark, then dropping a garbage download at the last minute and demanding it be rammed through without thought, reflection, or amendment. That model cannot continue. Not only do the members need time to review legislation, but we the people do too, because we will catch the nonsense ourselves. Johnson needs to be organized and focused to get President Trump's agenda moving. But first, he must ensure that the right Republican is in the right job. We're done with committee chairman picks because they are pals of the speaker or are simply old. We need people committed to the president's agenda wielding the gavel. Sadly, it is not clear that the GOP gets this. One example is the fight for the House Foreign Affairs Committee chair. The choice for this critical slot is simple and obvious, yet the GOP is making it hard. Darrell Issa of California, who previously chaired the House Oversight Committee during the first Trump term, is an Army vet and a supporter of Trump on Ukraine and everything else. He's up against Ann Wagner of Missouri, who was an ambassador to Luxembourg, which is barely a country, and is a huge Trump backstabber. Oh, she also identifies as a girl, which some of these hacks think matters. We take differently abled lesbian Hindus of color chairing every committee if they were America first. But Wagner is an establishment snake. She just adored Trump over the last few months when she was running for re-election, but she will almost certainly revert to form if chosen. In 2016, she withdrew her Trump endorsement because he said mean stuff. She wanted to censure Trump over January 6th, even though he did nothing wrong. Who needs that kind of invertebrate playing to the Washington Post, chairing a key committee, when you can get someone like Issa who will be with us in Ukraine and whenever else it counts? This is the kind of unforced error the GOP needs to avoid. But the problem is that the GOP caucus has traditionally been unable to avoid unforced errors. This is me editorializing, but if I'm being honest, the GOP not only has unforced errors, they orchestrate most of them. All right, we're going to leave the rest of this on the cutting room floor because we are up for a break. And I think we've covered the gist of the point of the article. We have a lot of squishes in the GOP still. They need to be dealt with, and they need to be dealt with swiftly and harshly, in my opinion. My name's Rick Robinson. This is my show. And just as a reminder, the views expressed on this program do, in fact, reflect those of KLR Radio Management, but not SHR Media Management, because I'm the boss over here, but not over there. We'll be right back.
I've been representing injured Oklahomans and their families for almost 30 years. At our firm, we've handled hundreds of crashes involving semis. They are huge vehicles and when fully loaded can weigh as much as 80,000 pounds. Most semi drivers are careful and professional drivers, but some big truck drivers and the companies they drive for are dangerous, and I've personally seen the devastating effects on families. If you or a loved one has been affected by a semi crash, contact us at 405-777-7000 or McIntyreLaw.com. We will fight for you.
Achieve platinum status in the Fuel Rewards program at Shell and save 10 cents per gallon on every fill. Right now, you're less than 5 miles away from your closest Shell, so make a pit stop this afternoon and fill your tank with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Click the screen now to learn more about platinum status in the Fuel Rewards program or download the Shell app today. Platinum status is earned with 12 fill-ups over 3 months, 10-gallon minimum per fill-up at participating Shell locations. Terms apply. Visit www.fuelrewards.com/status.
It's back to school season for the kiddos, which means it's the perfect time to get your vacay on. Beaches are empty, resorts are quiet, and Cheap Caribbean Vacations has fall vacay deals up to, wait for it, 45% off.
Plus, you can score more site-wide savings and take an extra $50 off your booking now through September 5th. Take this as your sign to pencil in a vacay this fall and turn back to school season into back to beach season.
Go to cheapcaribbean.com to find your next all-inclusive vacay. Offer ends September 5th.
You can achieve platinum status in the Fuel Rewards program at Shell twice as fast by filling up 6 times with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Right now, you're less than 5 miles away from your closest Shell, so make a pit stop this afternoon and fill your tank with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Click the screen now to learn more about platinum status in the Fuel Rewards program or download the Shell app today. Platinum status is earned with 12 fill-ups over 3 months, 10-gallon minimum per fill-up at participating Shell locations. Terms apply. Visit www.fuelrewards.com/status.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
News contrives to frighten you, to make you feel small and alone, to make you feel that your mind isn't your own. I spent the day in bed. It's a consolation when all my dreams are perfectly legal in sheets for which I paid. I am now late and I recommend to all of my friends that they stop watching the news, because the news contrives to frighten you, to make you feel small and alone, to make you feel that your mind isn't your own. Oh, time, do as I wish. Time, do as I wish. Oh, time, do as I wish. Time, do as I wish. Oh, time, do as I wish. Time, do as I wish. Oh, time, do as I wish. do as I wish. I spent the day in bed. You can please yourself, but I spent the day in bed. Pillows are like pillows, like
It's not my fault. It really isn't. But I have to do this because my own bumper made me do this.
Giggity giggity. Giggity goo. Stick around.
Sorry, you didn't think that was going to happen when he's talking about pleasing yourself? Anyway, so we're back. We're live. We are halfway through hour 2 of the Rick Robinson Show. Actually, a little bit over half. Don't forget, coming up behind me, we're going to ship you up to Boston for the one, the only, well, he's not in Boston anymore, but he's still a Beantown Bastich. The one, the only Sean from SHR Media, who does Edge of Liberty, and he does it on Mondays and Fridays. He keeps teasing about doing it more, but I guess that may or may not happen after the holidays. I don't know. Not my show, not my business. Let him do what he's going to do. All right, so we're back. We're live, and good morning to you too. And I'm not that crazy. I have a certificate that says I'm not. Just saying. Never mind the fact that I had to scratch out the word in front so it reads I am sane. But anyway. Oh, all right. So we're back. We're live, and it's Monday. So we've kind of been talking about the squishiness of the Republican Party off and on today, and I have a huge problem with it, always have. It's part of the reason why I'm no longer a registered Republican. I haven't really been able to find a new home because, more than 2 parties doesn't really work well in this country. At some point, we may or may not fix that or change it. But even if we do, I'm not exactly sure it's going to work well for everybody. All right, so I did find another clip tied to one of these articles that I had earlier. So we are going to play that and watch together. So again, most of the time I don't screen these things in advance just so you guys can see my actual responses and actual language. This appears to be Nikki Haley, I guess, who has thoughts about Tulsi Gabbard. I probably will not like this. I guess we'll find out together because it's Nikki Haley, who used to be really hot, in my opinion, by the way. I don't know what happened. At some point, she lost cool points with me, and she's never really been able to get them back. But I guess, wait, she's doing her own show now on Sirius? Really? They'll let anybody have a show over there, I guess, if you're somebody that's, got a little bit of prominency. But let's watch this, shall we? We can point and laugh together. It'll be fun.
Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Now, everybody loves that she is now saying she's a Republican. But I have always said, let's look at what they've said, what their actions are. DNI, that is the president's top intelligence advisor. It's supposed to fairly represent the views of 18 separate intelligence agencies and units. It has the authority over $100 billion annual U.S. spy budget. $100 billion U.S. annual spy budget. And it holds sway over which secrets we declassify. That's a big deal. This is a job for an honest broker without any pronounced policy biases. So hold that thought for a second. What are the facts about Tulsi Gabbard? She opposed ending the Iran nuclear deal. She opposed sanctions on Iran. She opposed designating the Iran military as terrorists who say death to America every single day. She said that Donald Trump turned the U.S. into Saudi.
Hang on. Let's stop right there. How long ago was she making these statements? I mean, because let's not forget, you were once a staunch Trump supporter, and then suddenly you weren't. Now you are again because your allegiance is shifting the wind. Now, I will admit I have vacillated on Trump, but not because my allegiance has ever shifted. I will support whoever the nominee is, and that's always been my case. Which is why, even though I didn't want Trump to be the nominee in 2016, once he was, I tried, I still couldn't. That's probably about the only time I've ever broke that. But once he was elected, there wasn't a choice anymore. I can't root for the guy who was flying the plane to crash it into a mountain. And since then, I have been staunchly pro-Trump. The only reason I didn't want him to get the nomination this time was because I felt like we had a better option through DeSantis. The electorate didn't agree with me. And apparently neither did the Biden administration, because if they hadn't started coming after him with all this made up bullshit, there's a good chance that Biden probably still could have fended him off again. But they overplayed their hand, much like she is with these statements right here, which is what I was trying to tie everything back together with. So let's keep this going.
Saudi Arabia's prostitute. This is going to be the future head of our national intelligence. In Congress, Tulsi criticized Trump's authoritarian strike against Qasem Soleimani. Now, I will remind you, he was considered the master of death in Iran. She said he had no justification whatsoever for killing him. She tried to limit Trump's war powers against Iran. She tried to cut our annual defense budget so that we couldn't punish Iran and hinder their influence. Reminder, Iran is our #1 sponsor of terrorism, and Tulsi Gabbard was defending Iran. She went to Syria in 2017 for a photo op with Bashar al-Assad while he was massacring his own people. She said she was skeptical that he was behind the chemical weapons attacks. Now, this to me is disgusting because, Cheney, you and I were at the United Nations when Assad did those chemical attacks on those children.
Yep.
And you can go back and look at a speech I gave holding up pictures of dead children who had been killed by chemical attacks.
Yep, choked to death.
For her to say that Assad was not behind that, literally everything she said about that were Russian talking points. Every bit of that. That was Russian propaganda. After Russia invaded Ukraine, Tulsi Gabbard literally blamed NATO. Our Western alliance that's responsible for countering Russia, she blamed NATO.
Okay, I have to do this because Ron has finally done it, even if he's not here to see it. She actually blamed NATO. Even if it's true, she didn't literally do anything. Ron would be happy if he were still alive. He's probably laughing at me right now, though. Because that was one of his hugest points with me way back in the day, was my overuse of the word literally. But I have to admit, this person doing it finally made me want to say something. Because holy crap.
For the attack on Ukraine. And the Russians and the Chinese echoed her talking points and her interviews on Russian and Chinese television. Tulsi Gabbard pushed for dropping charges against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange and pardoning National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden, both whom were accused of leaking highly sensitive U.S. secrets that put Americans in danger. She called for Trump to end the destructive trade war with China. So now she's defended Russia, she's defended Syria, she's defended Iran, and she's defended China. Now, she has not denounced any of these views. None of them. She hasn't taken one of them back. DNI, Department of National Intelligence, this is not a place for a Russian, Iranian, Syrian, Chinese sympathizer. DNI has to analyze real threats. Are we comfortable with someone like that at the top of our national intelligence agencies?
Okay, first things first. One of these days, I want to get a budget big enough that I can have a studio like that one, because that studio was pretty damn cool. That's about the only positive thing I have to say about that entire interview. Because holy crap, it's like Sean pointed out in the chat. This one's too big for me to put on the screen. That's what she's... Damn it, I did it to myself again. Hang on. I got to do it again. It's a rule.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
2 giggities for the show, and I've earned both of them. This is not good. So plenty of people were Democrats before Republicans. Plenty of politicians said stuff they changed views on. JD was not pro-Trump back in the day and changed his opinion. Tulsi saw what the Dems were when they tried to call her a Russian asset and woke up. And I firmly agree with all of this. As far as Nikki's assertion that she's never walked any of this back. I'm pretty sure she has proven that she's walked a lot of it back by changing parties. I want to point that out. I think changing parties pretty much automatically walks back any bullshit you said as a Democrat. I don't think she really has to come out and say it anymore because she proved it because one, she walked away from the party, then she changed parties. So yeah, did she have certain views that we might not have found palatable back then? Yeah, but how long ago was that? Trump was in office at this point over 4 years ago, which would have put this at somewhere between the last 5 to 8 years. Whose opinions haven't evolved in the last 5 to 8 years? Sean just pointed out in the chat again, JD Vance was staunchly anti-Trump until he wasn't. I was staunchly anti-Trump until I wasn't. I think everybody's had to evolve a lot when it comes to Trump because we weren't used to somebody who hadn't been put through the political meat grinder and turned into this little yes puppet who says all the right things all the time. That's what we like. That's what we're used to. Donald Trump turned all of that on its head and said, no, I'm not going to be that guy. And he was upfront with all of us, even though we didn't want to hear it. He will go to guns on anybody who stands against him until he wins, and then he tries to mend fences. He told everybody that. We didn't believe him. And that's part of the reason why he was able to completely upset and destroy one of the largest Republican primary panels ever. I mean, there were so many people trying to run for president in 2016. They had the adult table and the kids table. I've never seen that before. We had nearly the same thing try to happen this year, except the electorate was like, no, because the problem is the regular GOP folks saw something that nobody else wanted to see. And I'm going to say this again. If you can look at the graph between 2016, 2020, and 2024, just those three alone, and not see that there's obviously something a lot different. One of these things is not like the other, and it's not what you think. Now you've got all the Democrats claiming, well, not only did he cheat in 2016, he cheated in 2020, and he cheated in 2024. The only difference is this time in 2024, just like in 2016, it worked. That's not the message. And it wouldn't even be being brought up if he had won, if she had won. Because if we were saying, hey, look at all this discrepancy stuff again, they would election denier. What are you, Putin's puppet? But they can do it all day long. This is part of what I'm talking about. The Democrats ram through when they have the opportunity to do so anything that their party wants done. If they have the numbers to do it, they will do it regardless of the consequences later. And it usually works out pretty well in their favor. The only time it hasn't really worked out very well with them was when they got rid of the nuclear option for judges' appointments, or they used the nuclear option to get rid of the 60 vote threshold for judge appointments. That has drastically blown up in their faces. But here's my point. 0 Democrats voted against any of Biden's appointments. Why do we have so many Republicans that are like, no, we don't want this person? Okay, well, if you don't want this person, maybe before you say anything publicly, you go to the president and you explain why you don't think this person is a good idea and possibly make an alternative appointment or idea rather than just going to the media and saying this person is terrible. Look, I've said this over and over and over again, and I'm going to keep saying it. I have huge personal issues with Matt Gaetz. I know Sean in the chat does as well because I've heard him say as much, and we're on the same page. Matt Gaetz is a pussy. When he gets pushed, he lashes out. He grandstanded well in Congress during the cross-examinations because it gave him good press. But anytime he didn't get what he wanted, he ran to the media and was a little pussy about it. So I have huge issues with him. But at the same time, I think he would have been one of the perfect people to take apart the DOJ and see if it can be saved or if we need to start over. So many things in our government at this point I think are honestly past the point of saving. There's so much cancer embedded in everything that we have that we've tried to fight for because we've believed all of these institutions and all the propaganda about the institutions and how they're good for us and how they're trying to do the best to look out for us. And the truth about it is none of them are. None of them are. The Republican Party, for the most part, doesn't give a shit about me and you, just like the Democrats don't. They only care about where the money gets to start flowing most of the time when the parties change power, because the only thing up until now that has ever really changed is where the spigot flows to when one party goes out of power and the other one comes in. That's one of the things that Donald Trump has been trying to change, because the only thing that's ever really changed out is the pigs at the trough. There's a different type of pig at each party's trough. This is one of the things Donald Trump has been trying to fight. This is one of the things that the establishment has been doing everything they can to keep Donald Trump from fighting. Because there is a cancerous establishment woven all through every branch of our government. There are people that are appointed, not elected, telling other people that are elected what it is that they should or shouldn't be doing. This needs to change. This is another reason why I'm thankful for Doge, or as I call them, Dodge, because I'm stubborn and I like that better. As in, you should get the hell out of. Because, look, I may not like all of Donald Trump's appointment ideas, but I still think he should get his say. Because nobody stops the Democrats. That's been a Republican selling point for forever. Well, we can't really do anything because the party that wins should get their picks. Except when it's our side, and then they're the ones standing with the Democrats to stop the picks. Does that seem counterintuitive to anybody else, or is it just me? Oh, we got BZ, and is BZ hanging out with you again? Because he's up early. Welcome into the show, BZ. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point. And that's the problem. We have people who are only interested in holding on to their own power and not willing to do what they know needs to be done to make sure that you and I are okay. We keep sending the same people to DC and expecting different results. This is one of the reasons why I was glad that Donald Trump actually won again. He's been the only one trying to be a disruptive influence against that crap. And I mean, at this point, Washington, D.C., for those of you that are sci-fi nerds, might as well just be the Borg Collective, because most everybody that goes in gets chewed up, spit out, and when they come out, they're talking the same party lines. If you don't believe me, we just played a clip of Nikki Haley, who now sounds remarkably like a Democrat and did all through the presidential primary, which is why everybody kept saying no, because this is what happens. When you go into the lion's den for too long, you come out just like them. And it happens over and over and over again. It's one of the reasons why I was most concerned about some of Donald Trump's COVID decisions, because I thought that the folks had gotten a hold of him. But again, he's even admitted this himself, which I'm honestly surprised that he did, but I think it was another thing that helped him win over a lot of folks that were pissed before. He didn't understand exactly how broken Washington was the first time. He trusted the wrong people, and he's admitted that. And he's even said it during the Rogan podcast. He's like, I didn't know what I was doing. He's like, I'm a business guy. All of a sudden, I'm in DC, and all these people that are telling me that they can trust me are making all these recommendations to me, and I don't know anything about it. And they're like, well, if you just do what we tell you to do, you'll be fine. And then he found out most of those people were self-serving, backstabbing assholes, and found out the hard way. But for those of you that are still, lining up in opposition to all of his appointments, I would like to remind you that we only have 2 years to prove to these people that we are the adults in the room. If we do not make some of these substantive changes that are the only reason they put us in power with a mandate, no matter what the New York Times and everybody else tries to tell you, because now it's, oh, he's got the less popular vote ever. He's still got the popular vote, assholes. For only the second time this millennium. For only the second time in 20 years. Well, actually, I tell you, I'm pretty sure it is the second time this millennium, because the last one was George W. Bush. But all of this needs to be looked at under a microscope, because it's all way too fucking big now. And that's just the truth of it. That's where we are. That's the America that we live in today. We are a bloated, bureaucratic nightmare. I cannot wait for Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to start getting in there with red pens. I cannot wait for Linda McMahon. Sorry, I had a track skip there. For Linda McMahon, who streamlined the entire SBA to start going in with red pins to the education establishment, because as we talked about in the first hour, I think it was the first hour. Yeah, it had to be. The education establishment was started by Rockefeller during the Industrial Revolution because they wanted people to be smart enough to be good workers and not smart enough to do much of anything else, which is why they keep telling you the best way to be a good American is to get a 40-hour-a-week job somewhere, contribute to your retirement through Social Security, and be a good little worker bee. And that's just where we are. And again, Rockefeller did some studying. For those of you that may have missed first hour, we'll go out with this point because we're at top of the hour anyway. Rockefeller did some studying and he figured out how long it takes to actually indoctrinate people, and it takes about 12 years. Is there any surprise that our education system lasts about that long? Interesting little tidbit that a lot of folks don't know. But if you need any more proof that it's working, just look at what's going into college and then coming out even with more indoctrination. This is what we're trying to change. Again, the left pushed too far. They sent everybody home for something that probably never should have been sent home for. And then, in a lot of ways, they made it worse to feed the fear by putting a bunch of COVID patients back into nursing homes. So everybody started watching all the old people croaking over. This thing is terrible. We have to do something. Because it was an experiment. We watched the establishment run a social experiment on America, and they lost. This is why so much is changing so quickly, because they lost. Unfortunately, I did not have a Thanksgiving bumper ready to go. I tried to, but I got distracted. We'll be right back. Hour 3, good Lord, already on the other side. For those of you listening on Spreaker, there'll be a brief interruption. For everybody else, it's going to stay about the same. My name's Rick Robinson. This is my show coming at you live from KLR Radio's headquarters and also streaming through shrmedia.com on their YouTube channel. Don't forget, for those folks that are interested, Sean from SHR Media is coming up after the hour. So we've got live programming for you all the way until about 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then I'll be back tonight filling a hole. I know, giggity. Don't have time to play the clip. For the Red Wine crew that are on hiatus, I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars, come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
My dad was really, really special, and I loved my dad a lot.
I'm proud of him, and that even though he isn't here with us, but he died as a true hero.
I miss everything about him.
In the moment that the officers and I had to come see the children, my biggest reaction was, I don't have 7 arms. I have 7 children who just lost their father, and I don't have 7 arms to wrap around them.
I'm Frank Silla, chairman of the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Our foundation is committed to delivering mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families.
To not have to worry financially is a huge peace of mind. The thought of, what in the world will I possibly do to pay the bills? How will I possibly let the children have a life that feels normal? I don't want them to have to quit their piano lessons or their basketball. I don't want them to feel that we have to move into a little apartment and struggle financially in addition to the emotional weight.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risk their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Those who serve us and then lay down their lives protecting our freedoms and our safety, the least we can do is $11 a month to give them that peace of always knowing there's a home, there's that sanctuary when life feels like it's been tipped upside down, because it has, when you lose a parent in the line of duty, to know you can go home, you can be safe, there's no risk of losing your home. That's a peace of mind that I can't believe you can get for $11 a month.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts.
Please donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our government was established to secure these rights and for the good that comes from exercising them well. This is why the founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire. Hillsdale College, pursuing truth and defending liberty since 1844.
Ready to learn some medieval combat, kiddo?
You bet, Dad. Let's do this.
You know, spending quality time with your kids is important, but finding a fun and safe way to do it can really be a challenge. That's where halberds come in. Halberds are the perfect way to bond with your kid while teaching them about history and physical fitness. Plus, they're a blast to play with. So next time you're looking for some family fun activity, grab a halberd and get ready to make some memories.
Come on, Dad. Round 2.
Halberds, bringing families together one medieval battle at a time. This commercial brought to you by the KLRNradio.com Ad Council.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, this is Sean with the Edge of Liberty. You're listening to the only man who's comfortable wearing his jeans backwards, Rick Robinson. And if you want to check me out, I'm on KLRN every Monday and Friday, 12 on the Pacific Coast, 3 on the East Coast, talking news, politics, everything else that really comes to mind. Loud, bald, from Boston. I check all the boxes that you hate. So check me out right here on KLRN.
They want to hear the Thanksgiving song. All right. This is a Thanksgiving song. I hope you enjoy it. Love to eat turkey. Love to eat turkey. Oh, I love you. Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat. So good. That clapping's messing my head up, man. I appreciate it, but I was trying to think of the next line. I'm like, all I hear is clapping. Here we go. Thanks anyways. Turkey for me, turkey for you. Let's eat the turkey in my big brown shoe. Love to eat the turkey at the table. I once saw a movie with Betty Grable. Eat that turkey all night long. 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Turkey lurkey do and turkey lurkey dap. I eat that turkey, then I take a nap. Thanksgiving is a special night. Jimmy Walker used to say dynamite. That's right. Turkey with gravy and cranberry. Can't believe the Mets traded Darryl Strawberry. Turkey for you and turkey for me. Can't believe Tyson gave that girl BD. White meat, dark meat, you just can't lose. I fell off my moped and I got a bruise. Turkey in the oven and the buns in the toaster. I'll never take down my Cheryl Teague's poster. Wrap the turkey up in aluminum foil. My brother likes to masturbate with baby oil. Turkey and sweet potato pie. Sammy Davis Jr. only had one eye. Oh, turkey for the girls and turkey for the boys. My favorite kind of pants are corduroys. Gobble, gobble, goo, and gobble, gobble, giggle. I wish turkey only cost a nickel. Oh, I love turkey on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Helps if I remember to unmute myself. And since we are into the final hour, I feel it only appropriate, even though we played this in the opening of the first hour, that we play this again, since we've had some folks that have joined us since then. Because I'm only going to get to play this for a couple more days, and it will actually be getting played quite often. And I'll explain why it's such a big deal to me in a minute. We actually have some merch kind of loosely based on this idea that I'll be playing. Wrong button, my bad. They can technically, but they're short hoppers, kind of like chickens. Chickens can fly too as long as their wings aren't clipped, but they're really more jumpers than flyers. But anyway, so the reason I brought this up, and I already had it up on the other screen, but I'm going to bring it up now. Actually about 3 points I want to make here. First of all, WKRP was one of the things when I was a kid that started giving me my love for radio. To be completely honest, I spent a lot of my I believe it was third grade recesses indoors, even when everybody else went outside, because me and a couple of friends were convinced we were going to be the next chipmunks. So we used to sit around and play with a tape deck to basically record our own versions of chipmunk songs, because I used to be able to talk with a really high pitched voice. And so did they. So that was a thing we did for a lot of third grade. And then, unfortunately, even though it was something that I always wanted to do, my parents kind of dissuaded me from it. So I never really pursued it. And then at some point, I kind of realized that, this is something that I've always wanted to do. And I started figuring out a way to do it with new technology. But WKRP was honestly one of those things, because anytime it was on, I would watch it. I thought Johnny Fever was amazing. I do have a question for the chat. Team Jennifer or Team Bailey? Just curious. I happen to be Team Bailey, believe it or not. Just saying. But yeah, it's one of the things that helped me fall in love with radio. It's always been a thing for me. And eventually I did find ways to do it. I've been on terrestrial radio. I've done other things. It's led to me having a writing career and everything else. It was a very circuitous route to get me here, but unfortunately I didn't really do it. And see, I felt like I was going to kind of be alone here. Half the chat's like, Bailey. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better about my life choices. Anyway, but yeah, so that's part of the reason why I play this every year when I can, regardless of what may or may not happen from us playing it. I still don't really understand how I can get in trouble for playing things that are on YouTube. It's kind of like I've noticed, even though I have music licensing, Facebook and a few other places have kind of figured it out now. They actually, they actually have, since they have the ability to embed music in your reels and stuff now. What happens is if they find out you're playing music, they basically tag you and say, if you make any money off of this, you have to share it with the music rights holder. And I'm like, I'm kind of okay with that. I wish everybody would do that. And I don't really understand why, if something like with Saturday Night Live, this happened a couple of weeks ago. There was a Saturday Night Live skit that I played during a broadcast that I was talking about during said broadcast, and they pulled the entire thing off of YouTube. Which makes no sense to me, since I pulled the fucking clip from YouTube. Just none. Just none. Anyway, all right. So, but yeah, that's my love story for WKRP. It was amazing, and it was primarily because of clips just like that one. Now, I did discover something today that I'm going to look into probably tonight to see if it's something that may not be worth talking about tomorrow. But apparently, that whole scene was based on a true story, or at least loosely based on one. So I'm going to be looking into that. There's like a 20-minute clip that explains it, and it says, crazy but true, the real-life inspiration for WKRP's Turkey Drop. I'm going to be looking into that because now I'm curious. So we may or may not discuss that tomorrow. But yeah, so the coffee mug that is on display right now actually has on the back, you can't see it, but there's a dude holding a microphone that says, as God is my witness. Well, that's what it was going to say, but it was too long. It basically just says, I really thought the C words could fly. That's actually where so yeah, it was kind of an homage to that and us making fun of C words, because I don't want to say the word because I'm on somebody else's YouTube channel. And it's not the see you next Tuesday words, it's the other ones. Just saying. All right, so I'm going to make that go away now. I saw a couple of people have scanned it. Thank you for at least taking a look. I'm just going to say this again. We do have a wide-ranging amount of merchandise, and even if it's just something as simple as a bumper sticker that you throw on a window, that would be amazing. Two, even if everybody that followed me on X right now just bought a bumper sticker, that would give us our budget for like 6 months, which would be insane. Just saying. Not that I ever expect that to happen, but it would be nice if it did. All right. So we've had a little bit of fun this hour because we have to. I told you guys we're not doing a show on Friday. So we're trying to have a little bit of fun on all 3 nights. But so this is from Scott Moorfield, and I will let you guys decide if you agree with this sentiment or not, because I'm going to reserve opinion until I read the article. But he is one of the people that has been now officially calling for Republicans, and in his own words, Republicans should absolutely nuke the filibuster. So let's see where we go with that. So, as incredible and providential as Donald Trump's election victory was, it's hard not to shake the feeling that we're living on borrowed time. By now, Democrats were supposed to be well on their way to solidifying a stranglehold on the American electorate, wielding their imagined permanent Democratic majority gained through entitlements, race hustling, and illegal immigration to ram through structural changes that would seal them in power forever. Instead, Republicans, with control of every branch of the federal government, thanks to Trump's magnificent run, have been gifted with one more bite of the apple. We squander this chance at our peril. So he's using much fancier words than I do, but he's not wrong. Let me make this go away because I just realized it's still up. I thought that's right. That's what it was. I made it go away on the main page, not this one. And let me do this too, just so you guys can kind of at least notice when I'm talking along. So with the above statements will come all manner of debates. Trump's cabinet picks are already raising eyebrows, even some among conservatives, although I would say he's done a solid job overall picking people who will implement his agenda and threatens the establishment. There will be deportations and judiciary picks and executive orders and hopefully lots of good news from the new Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy-led Department of Government Efficiency. We'll hopefully enjoy all or most of that stuff. There will also be attempts, since Republicans do control both houses of Congress, to implement a legislative agenda. We probably won't enjoy all or most of that. Why? The answer is the same reason. Republicans haven't been able to pass anything truly meaningful in decades. The Senate filibuster, ironically and predictably, Democrats are now embracing the handy tool they once sought to abolish just a few years ago. The brazen attempts from the Democratic senators Richard Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, Chuck Schumer, and others to basically beg for mercy and allow them to use the filibuster they once wanted to nuke when they were in power to obstruct Republicans over the next 4 years is the very definition of chutzpah. But these people have no shame, and Republicans, being the stupid party they've been for decades, are more than happy to acquiesce. So I'm going to stop right there for a second because this is actually one of my biggest talking points of all of this. You guys have to remember that Republicans have been the losing party more often than they've been the winning party, and they're used to coming at everything from that perspective. They're used to having to come to the other party hat in hand and say, if we let you do this, will you let us do that? We need to kill that mindset. It needs to be ended. It needs to be put out of its misery. Because even when we are the party in power, and I say we loosely because I'm not a registered Republican, but even when, I guess I should say, they are the party in power, they still do everything they can to try to get along with the other side to our own peril. These people have frogged and scorpioned us so many times, and yet we keep coming back to the same side of the aisle and expecting different results. I talked about this earlier with these appointments. Look, I understand that some of you are philosophically diametrically opposed to some of his appointment picks. I'm not judging you for that. What I am saying is he's the guy that won. He should get his picks. It really is pretty much just that damn simple. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings. And I'm sorry if you think that means that we're going to have less control because some of you are terrified that he's going to put the wrong people in power. I don't think so, because this time he's not taking the advice of the establishment. He's doing what he said he wanted to do the first time and trying to put disruptors in the positions of power so that we can figure out exactly how broken everything is and fix it. And he only has 2 years to do it. And if he doesn't do enough of it in 2 years, the pendulum is going to start swinging back the other way. We have more momentum in this cycle than we have ever had because people are seeing everything that happened in 2020. They were seeing the left saying, just let us put the adults back in charge and you guys' lives are going to be better. And then they weren't. So everybody's like, okay, let's try this again. We have to do something. We cannot keep doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting the same results. And we keep doing that even on the Republican side of the aisle, which is asinine. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just the truth. We cannot keep letting these people who we're supposed to be sending to DC to represent us tell us that they know better what we need than we do. And that's what keeps happening. That's why Matt Gaetz had to step aside. That's why Tulsi Gabbard, who was at least temporarily apparently put on some sort of a no-fly list, is now persona non grata because, oh my God, she was put on a no-fly list. You know why she was put on the no-fly list? Because of the Patriot Act. You know whose fault it is that we have this monstrosity, the Patriot Act? Yours, mine, and everyone who said we can give up a little bit of our freedom for security. Because we didn't listen to somebody who told us that was a terrible idea over 200 years ago. We didn't listen. We never do. You know, part of the reason why we don't listen? Because we've been being indoctrinated for my entire lifetime. We talked about this in hour 1 and hour 2. Our whole education system is an indoctrination camp. That's all it's for. It was started during the Industrial Revolution because they needed workers that were educated enough to pull levers and switches, but not educated enough to think for themselves and realize that they could make more money if they went out and figured out how to do their own thing. And it's been that way for a long time. And it's that way on purpose. You know who doesn't do those kind of things? People like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, at least not for very long. They go out and they find their own ways to make money. Donald Trump has lost more money than you and I are ever going to see in our lifetime. But the good news is he's losing his own money. Our government is losing our money hand over fist, and nobody seems to give a crap. Because we keep allowing them to do the same things over and over and over again. And I, for one, have had just about enough of that. This is why I am thoroughly pleased that Donald Trump is going to be in charge again. This is why I'm thoroughly pleased that he has a vice president who isn't a milquetoast like he got with the last one, because the last one got shoved on him by the party because everybody was terrified that he wasn't going to hold the party line. I am still about 70% certain that the Democrats are going to try not to certify this electorate. When we do that, it's tyranny. When they do it, it's democracy. They're defending democracy from Russian assets getting control. Never mind the fact that there was a hell of a lot more evidence that Tim Walz was in China's pocket than Trump has ever been shown to be in Russia's pocket. How many years did they try to prove that? And they couldn't do it. You know what they got him on? Trying to find out what it was that Ukraine had on Joe Biden. You want to know why there's so much money going over there? It's because of what they have on Joe Biden. And you know what they have on Joe Biden? Something that he was dumb enough to mention in public. He did a quid pro quo to get the prosecutor off of his son's back. And was dumb enough to talk about it in a closed-door meeting that was being recorded. The very thing that Donald Trump was impeached over allegedly doing, Joe Biden actually did just a few short years before then. Nobody gave a shit. You know why? Because there's a D behind his name. I'm tired of these games. So I'm very thankful that we have an incoming administration that is going to try to do everything that they can to shake up the status quo in DC. Are they going to get everything right? No, I'm sure they won't. Especially if their own party keeps trying to do everything they can to stop them. Now, I understand that in Maine, being a Republican is a lot like being a Democrat. It's what I used to say about Oklahoma Democrats. They were a lot more like Republicans in the rest of the country. That isn't really the case anymore because dark money is starting to influence elections everywhere. And the funny thing is, the people screaming the loudest about the dark money are the ones that are using it. That's the funniest thing that I find. It's just nuts. It is absolutely insane. All right, I dropped the ball again on the Thanksgiving bumpers, but we got to take a break. I'll be right back. One more segment. Then after that, hang around for SHR Media's Edge of Liberty, hosted by the Beantown bastards known as Sean. Yeah, I said what I said. Be right back. Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars, come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
My dad was really, really special, and I loved my dad a lot.
I'm proud of him, and that even though he isn't here with us, but he died as a true hero.
I miss everything about him.
In the moment that the officers and I had to come see the children, my biggest reaction was, I don't have 7 arms. I have 7 children who just lost their father, and I don't have 7 arms to wrap around them.
I'm Frank Silla, chairman of the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Our foundation is committed to delivering mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families.
To not have to worry financially is a huge peace of mind. The thought of, what in the world will I possibly do to pay the bills? How will I possibly let the children have a life that feels normal? I don't want them to have to quit their piano lessons or their basketball. I don't want them to feel that we have to move into a little apartment and struggle financially in addition to the emotional weight.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risk their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Those who serve us and then lay down their lives protecting our freedoms and our safety, the least we can do is $11 a month to give them that peace of always knowing there's a home, there's that sanctuary when life feels like it's been tipped upside down, because it has, when you lose a parent in the line of duty, to know you can go home, you can be safe, there's no risk of losing your home. That's a peace of mind that I can't believe you can get for $11 a month.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts.
Please donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our government was established to secure these rights and for the good that comes from exercising them well. This is why the founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire. Hillsdale College, pursuing truth and defending liberty since 1844.
Ready to learn some medieval combat, kiddo?
You bet, Dad. Let's do this.
You know, spending quality time with your kids is important, But finding a fun and safe way to do it can really be a challenge. That's where halberds come in. Halberds are the perfect way to bond with your kid while teaching them about history and physical fitness. Plus, they're a blast to play with. So next time you're looking for some family fun activity, grab a halberd and get ready to make some memories.
Come on, Dad. Round 2.
Halberds, bringing families together one medieval battle at a time. This commercial brought to you by the KLRNradio.com Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
One of these days I'll get this all down. Maybe.
Talking news, politics, everything else that really comes to mind. Loud, bald, from Boston. I check all the boxes that you hate. So check me out right here in KLRN.
That's just it, BZ. They ain't got to go nowhere. The feed will change over as soon as I turn off his YouTube and go turn off you guys' YouTube channel and go grab his new feed. Anyway, so we're back. We're live. We got about 20 minutes left before we do turn things over to the folks at SHR Media for the afternoon. Don't forget, I'll be back tonight doing a special America Off the Rails. Maybe for 60, maybe for 90, maybe for longer. Just depends on how much more material I can find. That's the downside. That's one of the reasons why I moved Rails to the weekends. It's pretty hard to do 3 hours and then come back and do 2 more on the same stuff, or at least it used to be, because the news cycle changes all the time now. So there still may be more to come back and talk about tonight. And of course, we'll still have some Thanksgiving related fun and everything else. So let's see. I think this is kind of important, and then I have a clip I want to play. But Margie Taylor, MTG. Let's just do that. I always confuse the hell out of her name. I don't know why. But anyway, so let me get this ready to go for you guys, and then we'll let you guys be able to see it too and kind of follow along as I'm reading. MTG lays out her vision for a new subcommittee, which apparently she's now going to be, I guess, the chair of. Some of you may or may not have mixed feelings about that. I don't know. So in an interview with Fox's Maria Bertaromo, Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't know why I keep trying to call her Margie. I knew that was wrong. Laid out her vision for a new subcommittee she will chair, delivering on government efficiency that will work alongside the president-elect's newly formed Department on Governmental Efficiency, which will be overseen by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And again, I would like to point out the idiocy of the left, because they spent days laughing about how the Department of Government Efficiency was so efficient it was going to be run by 2 separate people, both of which are volunteering their time, by the way. Seems rather efficient to get 2 billionaires for the price of none, does it not? We'll be looking at everything from government-funded media programs like NPR, oh please and thank you, that spread nothing but Democrat propaganda. We'll be going into grant programs that fund things like sex apps in Malaysia. That's a thing? Really? And toilets in Africa, she told host Maria Bartiromo on Sunday morning futures. All kinds of programs that don't help the American people, she added. I want to talk to the people at the Pentagon and ask them why they can't find billions of dollars every single year and why they fail their audits every single year. She also pledged to hold sanctuary cities and states accountable. Look, there's a really easy way to stop all this sanctuary city bullshit. Hang on, let me make this a little bigger for a second. I know, I did it again. I'll just say it because I don't feel like hitting the button. Giggity, you bastards. But there's a really easy way to stop all this sanctuary city and sanctuary state bullshit. Cut off their government funding because they're ignoring federal laws. It really is pretty much that simple. Cut them off the federal teat until they come around. But at the same time, I want most of the federal teat to go away. So it can only be used for the short term because I would like most of those programs to go the way of the dodo bird. But anyway, so back to what we were talking about a moment ago. So I'd like to talk to the governors of sanctuary states and mayors of sanctuary cities and have them come before our committee and explain why they deserve federal dollars. See, I guess told you guys I don't read this stuff in advance. So apparently she and I are kind of on the same page here. If they're going to harbor illegal criminal aliens in their states and their cities, Green said, the Republican lawmaker said it will be tedious work, but she looks forward to restoring trust and accountability to the American people. America has been really spoiled for a long time, but the federal government has been the worst abusers of the Americans' hard-earned tax dollars and the American people's trust. So actually, instead of continuing to read this, I think I'm going to play the clip instead.
Now on Capitol Hill, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is establishing a subcommittee that will work alongside Musk and Ramaswamy in overseeing and auditing government spending, to be led by Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a key member of the House Oversight Committee, and she joins me right now. Congresswoman, it's good to see you. Congratulations on this new role.
Thank you, Maria. Good morning. Good to see you, too.
Tell us what you see as the most government waste.
It's all over. Every single government department, program, grant programs, contracts, it is everywhere. And so when we look into a deep dive into this massive problem that's caused America to be $36 trillion in debt, we're going to have to go into all kinds of buckets. And that's how I'll be separating things on the Oversight Subcommittee on DOGE. We'll be looking at everything from government-funded media programs like NPR that spread nothing but Democrat propaganda. We'll be going into grant programs that fund things like sex apps in Malaysia, toilets in Africa, all kinds of programs that don't help the American people. I want to talk to the people at the Pentagon and ask them why they can't find billions of dollars every single year and why they fail their audit. But not just that, Maria. I'd like to talk to the governors of sanctuary states and the mayors of sanctuary cities and have them come before our committee and explain why they deserve federal dollars if they're going to harbor illegal criminal aliens in their states and their cities. We're going to look in every single aspect, and we don't care about people's feelings. We're going to be searching for the facts, and we're going to be verifying if this is worth spending the American people's hard-earned tax dollars on.
Well, these are all very important issues that you raised. I want to ask you about some of those government contracts that you just mentioned, government contractors, because one analyst says that DOGE would push for large-scale audits of big government contracts where a temporary suspension of payments would yield significant savings. Now, some of these companies in the defense sector and elsewhere, pharmaceutical sector, these are publicly traded companies. These are companies who are relying on government contracts. How vulnerable are those contracts and that business for those companies? I'm talking government contractors from outside companies.
Well, this is where the Oversight Committee, my subcommittee, will line up and walk and work hand in hand with DOGE and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. What these men are stepping forward and doing for our country is a great service, and we're grateful to them. We're grateful for President Trump setting up the DOGE Commission in his incoming administration. But that's where we want to look deeply at these contracts and these government programs to see if they really make sense anymore. You know, Maria, there are so many government agencies and government programs and contracts that their cause, their purpose has expired and they're no longer needed. And the American people shouldn't have to pay for them, but yet their budgets get reauthorized year after year. So this is important work we have to do. It's going to be very tedious. And I look forward to doing it, and I look forward to lining up the members of Congress that will be on the subcommittee with me.
So then every company out there who has a contract with government should be on alert right now. And the question you're going to be asking is what? Do they provide value to government? What? How will you decide?
Well, it's not just contracts. Let's talk about federal employees that haven't showed up to work ever since COVID. We're also looking at we have thousands of buildings that the federal government owns and pays for with over $15 billion a year. but yet those government buildings sit empty and these government employees stay at home still to this day. This is the exact type of waste, fraud, and abuse, and failure, honestly, failure. See, I see the American people as the federal government's customers. The federal government should be providing the top and the best customer service to the American people. And the way to do that is to carefully spend their money. The way to do that is to cut programs, contracts, employees, grant programs, you name it, that are failing the American people and not serving the American people's interests. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
And another thing that you just said a moment ago is about sanctuary cities, about officials throughout the country who might be harboring illegals in this country. Are you saying that sanctuary states and sanctuary cities will lose their federal funding?
If they use their police officers and their resources to harbor and protect illegal criminal aliens, then absolutely those sanctuary states and cities are in danger of losing their federal funding, and rightfully so. We all just watched in absolute outrage, anger, and tears Laken Riley's murderer's sentencing trial. We listened to her parents, family, and friends. She would be alive today if New York had not been a sanctuary state, if they had not released that monster and released him out to be free again, where he came to Georgia and murdered Laken Riley. Laken Riley's story is not a singular story. It's a story that happens to Americans all over the country. Nearly every single day an American is murdered by an illegal alien. Yeah. If these Democrat governors and mayors want to use their federal dollars and they want to use this funding to harbor illegal criminal aliens, then yeah, we're coming after their money, and they don't deserve a single penny of it.
Congresswoman, DOJ suggests having the Supreme Court review the 1974 Impoundment Control Act, which stops the president from ceasing expenditures authorized by Congress. Tell me about that, because DOJ is taking aim at the $500 billion in annual federal expenditures that are unauthorized by Congress for being used in ways that Congress never intended. Are you expecting to use that Supreme Court review?
Yes, we will be looking into that, and I hope to be using that Supreme Court review. Here's something important, though. This was a program that started under Jimmy Carter, and let's face it, Maria, pretty much everything under Jimmy Carter was a disaster. Those were times where people couldn't even afford to live life, and that's pretty much what we've come to today, and it can get a lot worse. You see, it's been bad the past couple of years for the American people because of the federal government's waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption. But going forward, if this interest keeps compounding like it is on our federal government debt, Americans are going to be living something that they never even fathomed it could be. We're looking at third world country levels of poverty. We're looking at homelessness increasing in rapid rates, suicide rates increasing. You see, America's been really spoiled for a long time, but the federal government has been the worst abusers of the Americans' hard-earned tax dollars and the American people's trust. And so our subcommittee has a lot of work to do, and we'll be lining up these important hearings. And most importantly, any program, grant recipient, federal agency, they're going to have to come and tell us why they deserve the American people's trust and are allowed to spend their money going further.
Right. We're going to continue on this theme of trust coming up. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you so much. All
right, so there you have Marjorie Taylor Greene herself explaining what her plans are as the head of the committee that will be overseeing DOJ, or as, again, I like to call it Dodge, and I don't care who doesn't like me saying it that way because I think it sounds cooler. I get it. It's Elon's thing. It was it's something to do with a dog and something to do with the Bitcoin. I get it. But in the waning moments of the show, I feel like we have to discuss this. This is actually breaking news that BZ tried to bring to my attention earlier, and I missed it somehow. Not surprising, because some people actually do believe the rhetoric that Donald Trump is going to be a megalomaniacal leader who will jail everyone who's ever pissed him off. I gotta say, it wouldn't necessarily hurt my feelings. Not after seeing everything the Biden administration did, but maybe that's just me. So this is again from Red State. Breaking: Jack Smith makes it official on the federal criminal cases against Donald Trump. This was actually updated just a little bit ago. So updated as of 2:25 p.m. Eastern. As anticipated, special counsel Jack Smith has now also moved to dismiss the government's appeal in the classified documents case against President-elect Donald Trump. The motion filed with the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals cites back to the same grounds as those cited in the motion to dismiss the D.C. election interference case. However, the government also notes that it is not dismissing its appeal to the Trump co-defendants, Walton Naudus and Carlo de Oliveira. In other words, the government will continue to contest Judge Aileen Cannon's ruling that the case should be and remain dismissed as to all three defendants on the basis of Smith's appointment being a violation of the Appointments Clause and the Appropriations Clause of the U.S. Constitution. So it appears that the 11th Circuit and perhaps ultimately the U.S. Supreme Court will still need to wrestle with that issue. I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump lets this go ahead and go to the Supreme Court so they can stop all the bullshit, because this is the only way to stop it at this point. The court has to basically smack them down and say, yeah, you did in fact violate those two clauses, and this is how you need to do those things. At first, I just assumed that when Trump took office that he would probably just step in and basically wave a magic wand and make it go away. But I think there is a good case for maybe permanently making this a thing of the past by allowing the court to make a ruling, because then he still has in his back pocket, even if he disagrees with the Supreme Court, hey, these people don't deserve to be going through this, and we're going to make it all go away. But if it does go the way that I think it should and hope it will, then Donald Trump himself should be able to allow the Supreme Court to make the case that none of this should have happened in the first place, which none of it should have happened in the first place. That's just the truth of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've always had a structure in place to be able to find a president eligible for facing criminal charges. That's the impeachment process. It's always been the way it's been done. That's why Nixon resigned, which is, again, why I'm thankful for some of these things coming out the way that they have, because we have a chance to fix what is broken. If we do it right, and if we are steadfast enough and we hold these people's feet to the fire, we have a chance to have a generation worth of repair. That's why some of these younger appointments and everything else that he's trying to do are as important as they are. Because we're not putting the same old stodgy old people in charge of everything again, or at least we shouldn't be. This is one of the reasons why I'm so pissed off that McConnell is stepping down as the head of the Senate, but since he's still got his seat for until the next cycle, he wants to be put in charge of a very important committee. I'm sorry, that man should be being run out of office and have a governor appoint somebody else to the seat. This makes us no different than the Democrats, because this man has had buffering symbols over his head now for months. And it's insane. It is absolutely insane. All right, so we're going to wrap things up a little bit earlier than normal because I do have somebody coming up behind us. So hang out for SHR Media's The Edge of Liberty, and hosted by the one, the only Beantown Bastage known as Sean. But since it is Monday and we are shipping you up to Boston, we have a very special way to get you there. So here we go.